Hello everyone. I am back after 6 freaking weeks. Actually, more than 6 weeks. I feel like I've lost the ability to be doing this in a way because I've not done it for so long, but I've had the busiest few months. I cannot, okay, not few months, 1.5 week or whatever. It's just been back to back to back socializing, and it's not something that I'm used to because it's not happened for such a long time, but I absolutely missed it, and it made me realize that I kind of miss social connection. I thought I was fine with it, which in any case I am. However, when I was having all the social connection and spending time with family and friends, it felt really nice, and I really thought, oh, I'm too old for this now, and it's not as exciting as it used to be. There's something wrong with the way I've set up everything today, and it's just not sitting well with me, and it's kind of pissing me off. Like I said, I've been so out of it. Anyways, I'm not going to digress into it. Today's topic is actually going to be about people pleasing and why we do it and how to get over it. Now, I have made notes 1.5 month ago. So, whatever I'm reading right now, I'm like, this doesn't sit well with me. But I'm gonna kind of wing it because I really don't want to do it from my notes right now. But before I start that, I'm gonna tell you everything that has happened in the past 1.5 week, okay? So start in March. Start in March. My nephew had his christening, he was baptized. I don't know what people do, but clap, clap, clap. Amazing. He absolute soldier, didn't cry throughout, was just as adorable as usual. Loved it. And then we had the christening party the next day. And then the whole week I stayed at my sister's place. So I spent a lot of time with my nephew, and I was like, oh my god, he's low key kind of cute. Like, he's so adorable. Like, it stresses me out. I'm like, how can this tiny little thing just be so cute? And he's so talkative in the mornings. I absolutely love it. Like, I just very cute. And then the week after that was Easter. So I spent 4 days in my other cousin's house, and she also has a cute 3 months, 4 months baby. So you imagine how much cuteness my life has right now? It's just exceeding the limit. It's just too much. It's just too much. Okay. And I was there for 4 days as well. And then I came back, and I don't remember what happened on the week after that. But I know there was something else. Actually, that was the only week where I stayed home because I was like, I'm tired. I have been so social, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, no, I didn't stay home. I didn't stay home. And then the week after, okay, actually, no, I stayed home. And then the week after that was my second nephew's christening. And I hosted the christening. I was the MC for the christening, and it was so much fun. I have never done hosting before. Like, as in, not hosting, I think hosting is a different term, but I've not been an MC before, and it was pretty interesting. I think it's also because it was my family that it was easier to do because I knew the people there more or less. So it was pretty I wouldn't say easy because before that I was pretty nervous. I'm like, oh my god, what if I forget some important family member? What if I say something really stupid? Because sometimes I can be really unhinged, or I don't know if I'm gonna say unhinged, but my filter can go off when I'm nervous, and then I can ramble. But like throughout, I had to like keep it quite mellow and stable, so I did it, and it was really fun. And I don't know if I'm gonna do more of it, but let's see if I will. After that was my birthday. Woo, 32. My cousin came down from India, so I was actually supposed to spend it alone because I was like 32. I want to have a calm birthday. I just want to spend it by myself. And then my cousin's like, yo, I'm coming down. I was like, okay. Guess who's going for a party? And we went out to London, had a whole night out, came home pretty early in the morning. It was so messed up because it was a Thursday. We were like, we will take the bus. Like, what is this? So what? It's just one day. There are buses all night. Never do that. Not on a weekday. I don't think even on a weekend, to be honest. I don't think you should ever do that. Just take the last tube home and just get home and sleep. Because the next day was not the best day for me. My body was like, you wanted a peaceful birthday, right? What happened? What happened, girl? We were prepping for that. We were not ready for this disaster to happen. But it was a really fun birthday. We then went to my sister's place for a barbecue and so on. And then the week after that, I met a friend from my old college days. So that was really fun as well. And now I'm back. And now I'm back to be doing this, to speak about people pleasing. People pleasing. I usually do fail, the highs and lows of the week. So I've had just way too many highs. I've had so many highs. Dude, one of my videos went, it's not viral obviously, but it got so much engagement. It got like 88K views and some 4,000 likes and stuff. And I was just like, this is amazing. This is wow. I was like, how did this happen? Like, this is crazy. So I was really happy about that. And of course, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be super famous tomorrow or something, but it's definitely encouraged me a little bit more to like put myself out there more, and has given me a little more courage to like put my face on camera and speak more. So that's a win for me. Now a fail. There were no fails. I don't think there were any fails. I think everything has been really splendid in the past 1.5 months. So I genuinely don't think the fact that I can't remember a fail is such a win for me. Because usually I have the tendency to be like, this was messed up this week. But no, I have been running like, I've still been running, by the way. The last time I put out my 3 months check-in thing on my first video of that, I've still been running. So it's been going amazing. Now, before I digress more into how amazing my life is, let's start talking about people pleasing. Now, people pleasing has been the bane of my existence for a very long time. Okay. And I'm sure, you know what the funny thing is? I used to think I'm a big people pleaser. And then there were these certain people in my life where I'd be like, damn, man, I wish I was as bold as this person. And I had the courage to say no. Recently, I spoke to this person and they were like, bruh, I'm such a people pleaser. I'm like, huh? And the funny thing is, I think innately all of us are kind of like people pleasers, but there are things which we are able to say no to, and there are things that we may say we are not able to say no to. So it really depends on the context, and for every for different people. So for me, I just I don't even know where the tendency comes from, okay? But I did write the meaning of what people pleasing is, because I oh my god, there's just so many. I have written 5 pages for this. 5 freaking pages. That is some sort of commitment that happened like 2 months ago now. But here we are. I'm looking through the 5 pages and I'm like, what have I written? It makes sense, but it just feels a little outdated. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, so the definition of people pleaser is someone who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of their own needs, desires, and or well-being. Okay, now the key traits are inability to say no. I used to have a problem with saying no. Now, now I remember there was someone at work. They were like, "Oh, so what do you do when this person's new?" Okay, and I didn't warm up to this person very easily. So they came and they were like, "Oh, what do you do at work?" Da, da, da. I was like, "Yeah, this is what I do." Da, da, da. Okay, and after a couple of days, again he asked me, "Oh, so what does this look like? And do you do that?" And we're not in the same team or even in the same company for that matter. And I give him a brief, and then he's like, "Oh, aren't you going for lunch now? We'll catch up on this topic again." And I'm just like, "No." He's like, "What?" I was like, "I don't want to talk about this." He's like, "Oh my God." I was like, "No, not during my lunch." Like, I think if I was younger, I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, sure." We'll talk about it. In my head, I'll be cursing the shit out of him, but I'm like, "No, stop right there. This is my boundary. Please don't talk to me about work at lunch. At lunch, you realize why I have come all the way from my table to the kitchen with my amazing food that I make, and I pack it so beautifully so that I can have lunch and have a chill time. Not to talk about work more, So I have learned to say no, but I have not been able to ask for things, because in a way I think that's also like a people pleasing tendency, when you're not able to ask someone for something or just put out a suggestion because you just feel like you're gonna be some sort of burden, or you're just like asking for too much. I still struggle with asking for help, or putting out a suggestion that might make things a little more convenient for me, sorts of. Then excessive apologizing. I think I used to apologize a lot when I was younger. Now, I will apologize where I feel that there's a requirement. I don't shy away from apologizing. I have apologized for places where I don't need to apologize as well. but I don't mind doing it if it's going to like for all it's worth, you know. It doesn't take a lot to apologize to someone, okay? Especially if you mean it, and especially if that relationship or that dynamic is worth saving. But it angers me that I have apologized so much and this person has just not acknowledged what they have done wrong. And they're just like, it's okay, you don't need to apologize. And then they go on with their life, and I'm just like, bitch, was my apology? Do you know you fucked up more? So I guess that's then again becomes an insincere apology. But you get what I mean. I don't do it as excessively, but I have no problem doing it, just sort of to like simmer things down and be like, let's not make a bigger deal than it needs to be. So, hey, I'm sorry. Pretending to agree. Listen. You know what? Sometimes it's okay to pretend to agree with people who are just dumbasses. Okay? No offense to these people, but like, I'm at a point where I have no energy to disagree with someone who's just not making sense to me and who's also trying to have a discussion to disagree with me. Like, they just don't want to listen to my opinion with an open mind, and they're just like, no, but you are wrong, this is rubbish, this is what I think, ha ha ha. Then why should I even bother saying no? No, I don't have the energy for that. Okay, so like, if it's a discussion respectfully, I don't mind, but like, if you're just gonna go on yapping your ass off, I'm just gonna pretend to agree and be like, yes, you genius. Why didn't you get into politics? Why? You'd be perfect. Why? You know? Next, approval seeking. Maybe I think it would be that. It's just like being agreeable might be like the easier thing to do. So it's just kind of a way of seeking approval. And then conflict avoidance. Me, I do not like conflict, bro. Like, I'm not a very confrontational person. I think if things are brought up from someone else to me, I can take that. But if I myself have an issue with something, I don't know how to be confrontational, and I do not like being confrontational. I think a lot of people tend to be that way. It just makes me so iffy. I don't like it. But I think I think there are certain things maybe I can bring up on text. But like, anyways, these are the traits of someone. So if you if you belong to one of these, congratulations, you're a people pleaser. Amazing. How's your life going? Is it smooth sailing? What's happening? Leave a comment. So, the root causes of this is the fear of rejection and low self esteem. What? Low self esteem? Me? Tough life. Or just childhood experiences where love was conditional or being good was accommodating. Like, you being good was basically that's how you get love. I guess just easier to be accommodating as a people pleaser, and this just be accepted with the environment that you're in, whether you're happy with it or not. The funny thing is, when I was younger, I didn't see myself as a people pleaser. Also, I don't think the term was heavily used as such. And I used to do what I wanted. I don't think. I mean, I can't even remember a time where I was a certain way of whatever, like a whatever. But there was this one time where I was in uni and we were having this sort of college fest sort of thing. And I had a friend back then and he was running for director, whatever the hell, in this college fest. And he kept giving me like his side quest sort of jobs to do for him. And I did so much, okay? Initially, I was just like, okay, big shit. Like, I would do this for any friend. Any friend. Okay, and on top of that, I had my own shit going on for this, okay? Because even I was a part of a team and I had my own things to do. So I had my own shit going on. But at the same time, I'm helping this guy. And I had no problem with it because, again, I would have helped any friend of mine, okay? Maybe that's still a people pleasing thing, but also genuinely, I really don't mind helping. But then this guy stopped asking and just started telling. And when I didn't do it, he started getting annoyed with me. And I'm like, bitch, do I look like I work for you? But also, I didn't say that because I don't like conflict. So I just slowly started distancing myself and just stopped talking to him. Like, completely. And we were fine before that. Like, people were like, oh, these two are like buddies. And then after they were like, hey, are you guys fine? I'm like, yeah, we're okay. And I just never spoke to him. Like, I resented the guy so much. And this is all because I couldn't say no and be okay with the fact of saying no. Like, I just found it easier to avoid that whole conversation and just never speak to this guy again. Also, I didn't mind that outcome with this guy, okay? Because I really think he is a. So I really didn't mind that outcome as well. But I also, in the like later on in the long run, I realized how distasteful that sort of energy also is, right? Not just for the people. It's one thing for the people around me, but even for myself, it's kind of. I was like, if I had just said no and been like, bro, just manage it yourself. I have my own shit to do. He would have just accepted it instead of just starting to throw these stars at me and then me feeling a certain way and like distancing myself. So it's not the biggest deal at the end of the day in that point of time, but I guess some sort of realization where I was like, oh, I struggle with saying no. This does not look good. I think that's when I realized that I was one of the biggest people pleasers, and it came with so many friendship dynamics. And it was such a pivotal point where I realized what I was doing. And it comes at, and people pleasing comes at such a cost. Like, it really makes you feel like, for me, it really shook my nervous system. It shook my nervous system so much where I just didn't feel like I knew what I wanted for myself anymore. I didn't know whether I was doing things out of being a genuine friend, or whether I was doing things as a people pleasing sort of situation. So I'm like, am I doing this genuinely? And I had to sit and think, like, okay, yeah, I do like this person, but I also kind of don't want to do A, B, and C because it's not working out for me, you know? But instead, I'll be like, you know what? Who's gonna have like this discussion? Like, I'll do anything to avoid a discussion. I'll be like, okay, fine, I will travel so many kilometers, so for your convenience, or whatever the dynamic is. Why does people pleasing happen? It's because humans are wired for belonging. There's a fear of rejection as well. So, the whole idea of being scared to be rejected by any sort of social circle, right? Like, it's just easier to like fit into those dynamics, whether you're good friends with this person or not. It's just, you're like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Like, so you think that if you had to say no, these people will be like, ew, what a loser, get out of here. But it's so much more the opposite. I feel like the more you say no to what you just don't want to do, people definitely like have more respect for that. And I think people should have respect for people anyways, whether they're a people pleaser or not. But let's face it, have you seen the world we live in today? People are just looking for people to like step all over. So like, I'm not surprised that people who are unable to say no are not really respected. Then the second reason of why this happens is conditioning. So let's say in your childhood you were rewarded for a certain behavior, so translate into your adult life as well. It's really hard to break from the chains of your childhood, especially when you don't really know. I think it's only now, especially since social media has created so much awareness about how your childhood affects your adult life, or what your family dynamics in your house affects. How does that affect your own family dynamics when you grow up and have a family? Recently, me and my friend were speaking about grocery shopping and with our families when we were younger, and how watching our parents, the way they did their shopping, how it kind of affects the way we shop now. Because me and my friend have very different ways of shopping. She'll shop for what's essential, I will shop for just like vibes. Sometimes I'll be like, wow, this chili thing, we can use to make something. And she'll look at me like, what are you going to make? I'll be like, something. And it'll just be there for like, bro, I have chapati wheat since the past 1 year. I have not opened it at all. And I was like, I will make. She's like, you're not gonna make it. I'm like, I will make. And I did not make it. Till now it's there in my freaking cupboard. And today again I was like, hey, I think I should start that art. She's like, it must be expired, dude. Just throw it out. I'm like, no, I have hope. I'm gonna make it. So anyways, conditioning goes that deep, right? And it's just embedded in your subconscious. So to like get that out to your conscious mind and to realize that you're doing these things because when you were younger, maybe you were told if you behave this way, you will, oh, we are going to be proud of you. So you tend to do that. When you are a good child, you get rewarded. So that also translates into your adulthood. So conditioning. Any reason to avoid any tension, conflict avoidance. I don't like conflict, bro. Like, it's just, I wish, like, I feel like if there is conflict, I'm able to, like, keep a calm mind. I mean, that's what I think, and I'm able to, like, sort of articulate my thoughts and what I'm able to say, but it makes me very uneasy and uncomfortable. And I'm sure it's for everyone that, actually, no, I don't want to say I'm sure it's like that for everyone, because I'm pretty sure there are people who don't mind having that conflict, right? Especially if they're coming forward with a very ram sort of mentality, like just basically ready to ram into you and have that conversation with you, regardless of how you're feeling about it. So I think for me personally, I don't like conflict, so it's just easier for me to be like, yeah, okay, like I'll do it. And it's something I'm still, I wouldn't say I'm still trying to, you know, get across, but it took me a while to be okay with conflict in a way. I wouldn't bring it up, but again, there are some things that I'm starting to bring up way more in my life compared to before. So, yay me. It comes at a cost. The cost is basically number one, loss of identity. When at some like I said before, when you don't say no to things that you actually don't want to do, and you don't even realize that when you're saying yes to certain things is out of people pleasing and not out of your own interest, when you realize that you're saying yes to certain things that you don't want, you kind of forget what you want and you don't want to do in the first place. You kind of don't realize what is people pleasing and what is something you genuinely want to do, or or what is the like what is the in between that. And it kind of creates this sort of identity crisis, like if I'm not people pleasing, who am I as a person? Like how am I going to deal with breaking this sort of pattern? Because it's been ugly. It's really ugly when you're not able to say no and you're just in circles that you really don't want to be in. It can really shake your system and your nervous system up. It also, number two, is it builds resentment 100%. And I feel like for the longest time, when I realized this was happening, first of all, when I didn't realize it's happening, I had a lot of resentment towards these people who I was just not being able to say no to, doing the thing, or being in places where I didn't want to be. And then just getting annoyed about, like, just not at the fact that I can't say no, but I'm like, but why is this person like saying all these things? Like, why can't they just understand? And then when I realized that, oh wait, I could say no, then I started resenting myself for it. I'm just like, why didn't I just say no? Like, how stupid. How stupid do I have to be like angry at this person, when this person, maybe it would have led to conflict, or maybe this person would have just been understanding, but I've never even tried to say no, or like put out what's on my mind. And yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through this. I think resentment is really built by just not communicating, and I'm trying to be so thoughtful about what I communicate now, because I really don't want to be resentful towards the people around me. And in any dynamic in the future, let's say I get into a partnership or whatever, I really want to be as vocal as I can be. And I don't want to be aggressive about it. So I feel like sometimes when you are trying to change your direction from saying yes to everything and starting to say no, there's also this crisis of basically, okay, now when I'm going to say no, how do I sound normal about it? Because I'm so not used to saying no. So it comes out as a little bit aggressive. So that's another thing. It's habit building is really hard. Changing your subconscious patterns is really hard. It's like an active choice you need to make at all times in so many situations, and it's pretty stressful. But I guess once you realize certain things and you try to be better or act better, you'll get them. Number 3, attracting the wrong dynamic. I think this comes to friendships and relationships. When you're not able to say no, obviously you're staying in certain relationships for way too long, and also it's getting really ridiculous, right? Because in the beginning you're in this relationship and you know you don't like something, but you don't want to have this conflict or this discussion about what you don't like, so you're just like, let it be, it's normal, this is how this person is or whatever. I need to accept it, I need to accept it. And then it becomes so bitter, so bitter, so bitter, that at the end of the day, when you do bring certain things up, they're like, yo, I am like this, why didn't you say this first, I'm always like this. It's one thing that the person, when it's brought up, whether it's in the beginning or later, wants to do that change actively, right? But if a person's incapable of that change, that's a whole different thing. But if it was a sensible person, kind partner or whatever, they would have changed it whether you said it first or whether you say it later. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to like sort of convey any sort of message at whatever, at the earliest point, to be honest, like just at the earliest point. But because you don't do that, you end up staying in certain dynamics for way longer than you should, or just being around certain groups for way longer because maybe you don't want to be alone or you don't know how to get out of this group. So that tends to happen. That's the cost. You're spending time with people you don't need to spend time with. You could be doing anything. You could be sleeping. You could be watching TV. Huh? You could go for a run. I just had a flex that I'm running now. It's just, I never expected myself to run so much in my life. Amazing. I've written here, authenticity does not mean being harsh. Okay. So I think what I'm trying to say here, I'm trying to wonder from where the word authenticity came. Like, why is being authentic? Okay, yeah, not being a people pleaser would be being authentic then, right? So I feel like what I said before. It's also when you're trying to transfer your ability to say no. When you're trying to transfer that, you also are struggling within your nervous system because you're doing something so different to your body and to your mind. Saying no would be different for your body and mind when generally you would have just said yes and gone with the flow, right? So it's very hard to put it out there when you want to do something different or you know that conflict is going to arise from this. So when you do put it out there, it can seem more aggressive than it needs to be, and that can create so much more tension than what was originally planned. So it doesn't need to be that way, of course, but initially you're probably going to face that. You don't need to be a brutal person. You get what I mean? I don't think it's possible for a people pleaser to be a brutal person as well. Because again, it's not in the person anyways to be a certain way, so it would not be difficult. I mean, it would, the person's not going to be brutal. At least that's what I'm getting in my head, if that makes sense. This is not the best. I'm sorry. This was not my best work, guys. I'm sorry. It's just that it's been so long and I really want to start getting momentum built up. So I'm hoping that I'm making sense. But I do feel like I also am making sense. So if you watch, you watch. If you don't, you don't. How to move away from people pleasing. Okay, now tips and tricks. How to move away from people pleasing. Pause before answering, okay? I'll think about it. I'll let you know. Okay, the best one of my friends told me is if anyone makes any plans and she doesn't want to say yes or no immediately, because I have the habit of saying yes immediately and then regretting it. Like, how? I'll be like, why did I say yes? What? Why? There was no reason. I could have said, I'll think about it. I'll let you know. So another thing my friend Joy taught me was, I can't promise. I'll see, but I can't promise. So in a way that's like saying no. I can't promise. Like for me, if it's gonna be a no, I'll just start saying I can't promise. I'll check, I'll let you know, but I can't promise. So then only it's a no. But eventually I'll be like, hey, listen, I don't think I can come, blah blah blah. So that's amazing. You don't need to give an immediate answer to anything. Anything. You can just, if someone's asking for help on a certain day, like, hey, you know what, I have this on that day, and I can come at this time, blah 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 blah. Like just be open about it. Take some time, think about it. These are your three prompts, okay now? Number 2, get comfortable with mild disappointment. Bro, once I started saying no, I would feel really awkward. I'd be like, oh my god, I've hurt this person and this person hates me. What am I gonna do? This is so awkward. First of all, it's all in my head. This person probably has gone to sleep like just like a baby. But you are gonna feel like a certain way about it. You're gonna feel, you know, you're gonna feel really weird about saying no to someone who you have always said yes to. You're gonna feel weird that this person may be disappointed in you, and that's completely okay. If they love you, they'll stay. Okay? So it's fine. It's fine to disappoint people. You should, in fact, disappoint people in your life because that's the only way to even come to terms with who you are yourself. You should disappoint people in your life. I'm not saying go do something really crazy, but like if you want to just do it, I mean, who am I to stop you, anyways? Start with small boundaries. Yes, this one. Start with small boundaries. Decline plans. Just be like, no. In college, when I didn't want to go for a plan, I'm like, I'm too old for this. I can't come. Sorry. Sorry. Number, the second one is express a different opinion. I think mine is a probably normal people pleaser. I'm pretty sure there are people who even like have a harder time with it. So yeah, express a different opinion and do not over explain yourself when you say no. Just be like, "Oh, I can't come." And then you don't need to like give anyone a reason on why you can't make it, on why you don't want to go here, or why you don't want to do this. You don't need to explain. You can just be like, "Oh, because I don't want to." There was this one day someone at work said, "Oh, why don't you come to London for the weekend?" Because I was like, yeah, I don't do much. I just go here for lunch or whatever. I just stay home and I watch a movie and I just do my laundry. He's like, "Oh, why don't you come for to London? You know, we all are having a plan and we all are gonna have a house party and all stuff." I said, "No, no, it's cool, it's fine. Like, I had to come all the way to London and stuff." And then again, he asked me the same thing. And then he's like, "Okay, but come on this thing, no? Like, why you don't want to come?" I didn't know what to tell him. I'm like, bruh. So I just told him and I was like, "I don't want to." And he's like, "Oh." And he waited for a bit and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Like, cool. I was like, damn, I didn't need to explain myself. Amazing. So it's again, I probably wouldn't be able to do this a couple of years ago. I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll come to London," and then I would come home and I'd worry about how do I send him a text on why I can't come now. Like I would say no and then I'd stress. I would say yes and then stress about how do I say no. It was it's such a weird time in my life. Oof. Notice when resentment shows up. Oh, okay. Yeah. So let's say, for example, like let's say someone close to you has asked you for help and you have reluctantly, without getting any information or whatever, have said no. And now this person has sent you a bunch of messages and directions and time and place on the help that they require, and it is out of your reach. Like you feel like, oh my god, like I actually had to travel 3 hours to help this person. That's crazy. I don't think I can do it types, you know? And now you're reluctant to say tell this person, and then you just like, fine, forget it. I'll travel and I'll do it. But through that process of doing it, you're actually getting angry and like you're getting agitated and stuff, and you're getting annoyed that you have to do this because it's such an inconvenience for you, right? Even though you may love this person or whatever, but in some ways it's inconvenient for you. And you realize that, oh shit, like I'm getting annoyed. So once you pick up that trigger, you'll understand what did you not communicate. So at this point, I guess you'll understand, hey, I could have probably just told this person I can't make it. Or like be like, hey, can you let me know the details and I'll let you know if I can make it or not, or if I can work something out. And then according to your convenience, you let this person know on what basis you can help, right? If you don't communicate that, you are going to build that resentment. So as soon as you build that resentment because you just said yes to something without any knowledge or information, that's when you think about, hey, so what am I missing here? Why am I so mad? There's a lot of introspection. It's a lot of introspection, guys. It's quite annoying. Actually, it's not that annoying, dude. As long as you know and you're like doing anything to work towards making your life better, no matter how long it takes, I think it's absolutely worth the introspection. Overextending yourself may seem easier thing to do, but over time it hurts you and makes you lose yourself. Understood? That's what I've written. I've written like, okay, one more page. That's it. Okay. So I think this is my closing. So I think one thing I did realize with the whole people pleasing thing as well is for a long time, especially when I realized that this is something that I do, I was angry for a very long time. Not at the people, but at myself. Because I was like, how did I let this happen? Like, how did I come to a position or a place where I'm just not able to voice what I want? Like, there were so many instances where I would feel so guilty later on, and it's like I would not even blame the person in front of me. I'd be like, you know what you are. I can't change that. But at the end of the day, I could only do better for myself. I could only take stronger and better decisions for me. So there was a lot of anger at some point towards myself, and it took some time, like actually quite a long time, for me to realize where I was wrong and what I could do better. And I think when you do realize this change, it it's quite triggering to know that you could have placed yourself in a better position, but you just didn't do it because you were unaware, and when you were aware it was taking time. And even after certain amount of being aware, you may still fall back on these same habits, but it's just the idea of trying to break through these habits, it making an active choice to be a better person for yourself. I wouldn't say about being a better person for the people around you, because this being a people pleaser is the most deprecating thing for yourself, right? It's about being a better person for yourself at the end of the day. And it yeah, I don't think I'm much of a people pleaser now. The realization of it all has made things a lot more better. And I do hope, if you see yourself as a people pleaser, and if you feel like this is something that is really taking away in so many ways, because it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't only make your life difficult in the sense, but that, oh, like I can't say no, so I'm like struggling and stuff, but you could be losing out on your friendships and better relationships, and you could be losing out on a better dynamic with whatever friendship relationship, family relations you have, so it's that kind of does suck. And the sooner you realize it and you try to make things better and break through these habits, it's good for you. I do hope you like this episode. I have been a bit rambly, I'm not gonna lie, but it's been a long time, guys. I missed doing this. I absolutely miss doing this, and it's been really fun. I do feel like it's kept me really busy. I do hope I come up with different topics, and I'm trying to figure out what are the topics I can speak about. I do want to have guests on here. I want someone to speak with, to be honest. It's, as much as I like doing this by myself, like I'm generally just enjoying it doing by myself. It would be really nice to have company and to like just discuss stuff. I think that would be excellent. So hopefully I will soon find someone to who'll wanna come on here and just have a conversation with me, and we'll be like, hey, this was fun. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is slightly dramatic. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Give me a fly kiss if you want to. Even if it's negative comments, leave it down. Leave it down. Leave it down. Leave your comments. Anyways, thank you so much.